There were 5 burials, but most unusually 3 of them, including the one I'd helped to excavate, each had a pewter chalice and pattern, the ceremonial cup and plate used for communion. Whoever this man was, I was sure that he had a fascinating story to tell. This is the best preserved burial, the one that's in this stone-lined kist. It's almost like a coffin, but made up of different slabs of stone. It looks even clearer now, the burial that partly lay over the top of it's been removed, and it all seems to be here. The idea of a kist is that you build a grave and line it with slabs of stone, but normally these are much earlier. In medieval times you've usually got a complete stone coffin, but not in this case. I don't know, it's difficult to say whether it's dirt, but I think that a number of these vertebrae look as if they've fused together, which is a sign of degenerative disease. That's what it looks like. I mean, this looks like a solid mass here rather than a series of separate bones. I mean, this should be about 3 or 4 separate vertebrae, but it's one solid fused mass right the way through there. Okay, thank you. Right, now if we can sort of pack it round. Well, the last bits of this burial need to come out, and there's just the skull left and also a very nice chalice right next to it. And of course the skull seems to be lying partly over the chalice, which does seem in very good condition, and the stem of it seems to be coming down here with the foot resting on top of this stone. The chalices, lifted out in blocks of soil, looked as if they might be our most important clue. Oh, right, okay. It's none of that. Now, the burial I've just helped to excavate is very unusual for Meet the Ancestors, because I think it's the first time that we've been certain of the profession of the person in the grave. Because that man was buried with a pewter chalice, and that means that he was a priest. But when did he die? And what was his role in the history of this cathedral and of the city? By the end of the dig, we were sure that the burials were medieval. But the ground level around the cathedral had been lowered by some 3 feet during the Victorian restoration work, so it was hard to tell precisely in which century the burials had taken place. But there were some clues. Stone kists were used throughout the Middle Ages, but the chalices suggested the 13th century, as did the pottery recovered from around the graves.